Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander Cochran.
He's Captain Foley.
But am I evil Captain Foley?
This is now a question we have to ask. Of all the 8 years, how many of these episodes have you had a dark red glint in your eye, wanting to pull us in the direction of something dodgy? I don't know. Go back and watch all episodes, guys, and see if you can work out when you went evil.
Today we're talking about the reveal that Janeway's kind of been steering the kids wrong, at least ever since they decided not to go back to Federation space to avoid Starfleet.
Which obviously one day. But how much before that? What happened in the episode, Stuart?
Well, it's revealed that the construct has been influencing Janeway. Janeway actually has been trapping the kids. Finally got Dal's command codes and decided to send the Protostar on a direct path to Earth. The talk today is how long... Well, the construct's been on board the whole time. How long has Janeway been influenced by them? I mean, the first few episodes, she seems... We've always kind of said she's the character... Not the character, but the hologram seemed a little stupid. Not real. Sometimes real. And then we've kind of got an answer to that where it's like her programming was influenced by the Diviner and Dreadnought. And she even goes full evil, and we see a full evil Janeway at one point. Then she gets reprogrammed by Gwen, becomes tactile, has some new updates done. And seems everything's fine. And then this episode we find out that at least since they said they're not going to the Federation, she's been trying to steer them back towards the Federation. But the question is, has this whole, you guys, hey, you kids, you are awesome, you should go join Starfleet, you should go find Starfleet, has the whole time been her just trying to do what the construct wants her to do? So that's the discussion we're having.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because this show was planned. So this isn't a retconning situation. This is it there intended from the start, where the kids' aims and the construct, as long as they sync up, things are fine. And we see in the episode directly that the eyes shimmer with the red code, but real Joey has no memory of these things. It's very much a secondary AI is taking over control for those brief moments, and then I guess lifting control and not allowing those memories to be saved. So that can happen at any point in any episode. It isn't actually Janeway. So if we see Janeway acting normally, then probably not going to be the evil her, etc. I believe it was episode 3, very early on, when she talks about Starfleet, and she assumes they're cadets. We thought that was ridiculous from the start because she wouldn't. You just wouldn't. I mean, holograms are quite smart. And this is a training, this is a helping hologram that needs to help. You need to be very observant. And noting they're all underage, not in uniform, and you don't recognise 2 of the species. Clearly not in Starfleet Academy. So that was already a ridiculous plot point. But now we presumably can retcon that the construct interfered with that to force the singular notion of get back to Starfleet. Oh, you must be Starfleet, so let's get you back to Starfleet, kids. That's the only thing that makes sense, and therefore allowing that instant jump from what are you doing here? Because although in fairness you could say the opposite. If this construct had let her know they weren't Starfleet, she would have said, "We've got to get the ship back to Starfleet, haven't we?" But then if they stole the ship, why would they do that? And it's interesting because she needed a command code. The command code was added by Dal, so there was a command code. A new one was made, which she then needed to control the ship. Bit funny that, really. But if it was right from the start, okay. But why not ask for Dal's command code at any other point? Because they could proto-warp to a Federation base very quickly. If the construct could access Janeway from last episode, from the start of this half of the season, why didn't she just send a message to the Federation outpost? Why did it wait for talk to her? The thing's clearly massively intelligent and able. Why delay?
And the weird thing is, she didn't even ask for Dal's command code. She was just like, I'm trying to do whatever. And he's like, just use my command code.
Which is the smart way of doing it. But that is true. She didn't anything else for it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, she could definitely have contacted the relay station and stuff. So, yeah, I think it's just...
Or the Dauntless. Couldn't she just hail the Dauntless at any point? They were in fighting form, have the constant take over and say, all she has to do is, Janeway, why open a signal? And now it spreads and they got the Dauntless. It's a 1-minute plot point that now should have happened 4 episodes ago.
Because there was even a point where they were being chased by the Dauntless and the Dauntless was hailing them. All it would take is Janeway to walk over to the console and be like, oh, and stumble or something.
Fell.
Hit the button.
Yeah.
But I fell.
And not just that, but in that part of the story, the crew is trying to proto-warp away from Starfleet. But they're already at Starfleet. So the entire point of the construct is to be at Starfleet. Not at Earth, just at Starfleet. So that doesn't make sense either. And there's nothing's happened in between to jog the construct to be more aggressive.
Well, to be fair, we saw what the ship did to the relay station. So if they do even just answer a hail from the Dauntless is just going to destroy itself, and they still got to get to Starfleet. So they do need to get to Earth to actually have this be really impactful.
Well, yeah.
Because we've talked about that before too. The whole virus that kills its host before it has a chance to spread doesn't really work. But that's what we saw the relay station do. It just annihilated itself instead of sending out a signal to all the nearby Starfleet ships.
But then why would the construct have let itself be tapped into because we know it's conscious, it's active, it's thinking. If the whole point was to get to inner Starfleet, destroying a relay station would make the crew not want to go to Starfleet. So they shouldn't have done that. The construct should have not let itself be revealed. Instantly, Starfleet was sent a ship, got the ship. But I guess then you could argue that then, if they'd found the construct, it would have said, oh no, we can't take us back to Starfleet. So they need the kids to inorganically warp into the heart of Starfleet. But for them to want to do that seems unlikely at any given time. That's not what they're going to do now. That's a long play to have.
Well, the construct was hiding itself. They weren't even aware that deck existed. Even Janeway didn't. So it was already concealing itself. They did eventually find it though by accident.
Well, wasn't that the Diviner just blocking records of it? I don't think it was actively hiding. It just wasn't showing itself. There's a slight difference.
Yeah, I'm sure he's reprogrammed it so that it just wouldn't show up on anything. And the way we found it was they were looking for whatever, and they found the little marking, the little solemn writing on the deck. Which
I suppose, in fairness, if you assume that it was ridiculously well hidden, that you'd need a Valnakat to get into it. So I guess you could argue that even if a Starfleet ship did find it, they wouldn't ever look one deck below the bridge.
It wouldn't be the first thing you do.
No, but if the ship got stolen out through time, you do a full scan, you'd certainly find it in a giant, massive, mega deck-by-deck scan. It wasn't exactly a new room, it was just a room underneath the bridge, which had, there was stuff in it. It wasn't a new room. Okay, so if it's deliberately choosing to wait until it gets to Starfleet, fine. But now we know all it needs was a command code just to proto-warp into Starfleet, boom, done. Why not do that a few episodes ago? I'm sure if she'd asked nicely, they would have just said, oh, sure, Janeway.
I don't even set up his command code. Jesse's the captain. He would have needed help from Janeway hologram to set up his command codes, so that he was the only one. And she probably would have overheard him, because he would have trusted her to say, I need to do command codes? Okay, well, here's my code, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, I assume normally when you do command codes in Trek, it's linked to the voice pattern, which is carefully matched. So I'm guessing when he said it out loud, it unlocked. Because it can't just be a physical button code. That would be... anyone can memorize a code. Again, Data had to do his giant code in Picard's voice, etc.
yeah.
But again, I'm sure they would let him do that previously. That seems like a non-unbeatable situation. So it depends. Is this the last straw of the construct saying, F this crew, I've waited too long, they're being real dicks about this, let's just override and go? Which means this is kind of like its last straw, which means it's now thinking on the lines of, God damn these kids, let's make a move. Which means it makes it more dangerous if it's now thinking that way. So if it couldn't do it the entire time, that's one thing. But
yeah, I mean, if the construct is sentient, that's kind of terrifying.
Yep.
I never got the sense that it was. I still don't. But yeah, if it is getting to the point where it's like, we need to get this done. Actually, you know what? Maybe because what happened on last week with Janeway getting knocked out, we don't know what's going on in the Dauntless. Maybe the Dauntless transmitted some kind of signal, like the Diviner, to activate the construct, go in more aggressive mode. Some kind of something. I don't know. I'm just trying to... because I don't think the construct is sentient. Unless it's the same sentience that kind of came through the portal of Picard Season 1. Because it kind of looks similar. Can you imagine if that's a tie-in?
They sent a thing back in time and it became the Diviners. Oh no, forward in time. No. After Picard, they sent a construct. Yeah, and then that went back. That'd be logical. Wow.
Because their goal was this. Well, not really destroy just Starfleet, but yeah.
But it's clearly infecting sentient life. And I guess it would, if that was all linked in, it would then not attack sentient AI, because that's sort of its purpose, to free them from the human existence of everyone else. Interesting. Yeah, that'd be somewhat logical. What a retcon to Picard. If they did have a plan, it was to send tiny red balls to random planets in the Delta Quadrant, to maybe go back in time, to maybe attack the Federation. It's a great plan, guys. You are the smartest of the AIs. You really deserve all the hype you get. It is just a weird one, Stuart, because it calls into question every single scene from every other episode, and creates more doubt of a why not this? Why not that? And a retroactively plot hole inducing moment is tricky.
I'm sure we're going to get an explanation to all this. I trust the Prodigy writers enough to at least have a plan. So
I feel like their answer here is just the construct had no intention of getting involved at any point. It never did until it had to, and therefore, but it could have, it just never did ever. I guess that'd be their response. And we're like, why didn't it? And they're like, well, it never wanted to. We're like, okay. What about this episode? They're like, well, I didn't want to. It's like, well, but it could have, but it didn't want to. Sure. But it should have.
But it didn't want to.
Didn't want to. Because you would think it'd also be smart to say, just take me back to the Diviner. Like at any point, because that's also a way of solving the problem. Don't trust it to a group of kids. Get yourself back to the Diviner. Like when it was being tracted in a tractor beam before Proto Warp. All Jamie had to do was like shut off warp drive.
Yeah. Another thing that confuses me. Surely you should be able to blast a signal out that doesn't make a connection with the other ships. You should be able to blast a signal out that they can see, visually watch, but there's no connection between the ships. So if the Janeway hologram really wanted to, connect with, she goes, look, you're being chased by Admiral Janeway. I'm Janeway. She'll trust me. So we have I can do this encrypted channel or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like something like
that. But it was a trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just talk to her. Like it's easy enough to, if Janeway wanted to, just like that, basically destroy the Dauntless. I mean, seriously. So I don't know. I think the whole construct activation is fairly recent, and maybe not fully integrated yet into her programming. She's just doing subtle little things just to kind of steer them in the right direction without being a direct,
Because once you add because either it's a living, breathing AI again is the construct, which is in itself terrifying, as you said, or as code it can influence other things. They both have, in essence, the same effect, because if the code says a simple yes, no, get to Starfleet, Janeway's program took that code and made her own plan. If it wasn't to do with the construct's idea specifically, and if the Janeway program independently, with this little bit of code, said, I'm going to make it do a holodeck program to trap them and then take to Earth, there's intelligent thought involved, which means the code can make Janeway think intelligently, which makes it sentient, as close as can be, because all you have to do is put another code saying, kill the crew, and she'd be like, aha, or get me back to the Diviner. There'd be a plan in mind, It wasn't as simple. It wasn't as simple as sometimes in sci-fi where like you're getting taken over and you just press a button. There's just a thought of press button. There was an interactive plan in mind, not just quick plan.
Well, I don't think that all the construct has to do is just put into her programming, get to Earth.
Exactly, and it thought the rest. Janeway program used that.
Well, Janeway did
exactly, which means all it has to do is again, and it can do anything.
But it's like a subconscious suggestion though in her mind, where she's just like, she's not deliberately being evil. She's just has a feeling that she has to do that or something. I don't know.
But that's the scary thing, because all the constructs do is say, get to Dauntless or get to Diviner, and Janeway will make it happen in her own unique way with her own skills. Yeah. That's
without being aware of it. We've discussed this, guys. What do you think? When do you think Janeway was activated?
When the Diviner when the construct had access. That's the question.
So let us know your thoughts down below. As always, hit that like button. Don't forget to join us for lives. We do a lot of lives. We do a lot of edited content like this one. And we appreciate all of your input on all that stuff. So please notify yourself with the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our content.
And support us directly, if you can, if you want to, via Patreon. Join the channel on YouTube, both a monthly, one-time donation at trekyards@hotmail.com or super chat in our lives and super thanks in our videos. We appreciate any such support if you can.
That's right. So until next time, everyone, he is the possibly evil Commander Cockings.
And we'll never know what Captain Stuart Foley is, so you better tune in to find out. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.